being mindful of not putting yourself in a prison of your own making, I think has been incredibly crucial on this entire journey of exploring my creativity. I'm still learning every single day. I by no means am an expert on anything creative. I'm very at the beginning stages, which is something we talked about last week, was that I have to be comfortable knowing that I'm at the point in which I'm going to try and fail more often than I'm going to try and succeed. So I'm not claiming to be an expert on any of these things, but I think I've learned a lot. This week did a bit of a speed run in feeling the weight and understanding what exploring my creativity in public is like. The fear of being seen came up a lot. It's something that is obviously very, very common. I think we all experience it from time to time, this fear of being seen. And I want to bring it back to this prison of your own making. I think it's really easy to convince yourself that any little inconvenience or any little fright is enough to retreat and decide you never, ever, ever want to be seen again. This is also a part of the creative process. It's adjacent. I think the fear of being seen is a prison of our own making. I'll tell you exactly how it began to manifest for me this week. I got into a car accident last week. I totaled my car. That was the first ever car accident I got into. I'm a very spiritual person, so I assign a lot of meaning to things. And in this immediate instance, the first thing that came to mind was that I have been putting myself out there more. At the same time, that same day, funnily enough, had a video that was like doing really well. The accident happened that same day. So spiritually, this was like obviously a moment of alignment for me. And I was sort of like, there's meaning here for me to extract, and I need to extract whatever meaning that is. And I do think it comes back to this fear of being seen, that immediately when something bad happened to me, the first thing I did was blame it on this fear of being seen, as opposed to literally anything else. It was a self-manufactured prison, right? Because nowhere was there an indication of that. I made that up, obviously. And then it started to lead me to believe that maybe I shouldn't make content anymore. Maybe I need to go back into my little hole and continue doing what I was doing, right? Continue down the path I was on and stop thinking about all this whimsy, crazy nonsense garbage. I think creatively we run into these little prisons every time we hit little breakthroughs. Hitting this breakthrough of like being consistent, finding a niche, being creative in the way that I want to, like doing all the things that I've said I wanted to do. The second that I'm doing that and I'm showing myself that I can do it, and I'm giving myself more proof to trust myself and create like a positive cycle, I'm like sucked back into a negative cycle of actually, no, you should stop. Even though it was going really well, this one instance is going to convince you that all that progress was to scare you, right? Like, what? It's literally like, the SpongeBob meme? That's literally what it is. It's literally what it is. It's your brain firing up all the fear. I think that's a part of this too, the prison of your own making, and the whole idea of like how this keeps showing up the more you create. It's very easy to let fear rule how you think. And beyond that, then let fear rule how you make your art and how you decide to be creative, whether in public or not in public. For example, like last week, I put out videos that did pretty poorly in comparison to like my first week of content. Mind you, like I need to zoom out and ground us for a second. We're on week 3. Calm down, right? Last week it didn't do as good, and I could very easily allow that to make me feel like, ooh, I should stop. Because isn't it so embarrassing when people like see that? Why is it embarrassing? Be honest, why is it embarrassing? And these are the conversations that I've been having with myself all week as I put out that content that I kind of just had to put out because I got into that accident. Like I said, I got into that accident, and then I had this spiritual like questioning, reckoning of like, what the fuck is going on? It was just so much. And then through that, I had to continue and go, okay, well, yeah, this sucks, and I'm full of a lot of shame and fear, but gotta keep making stuff. And I don't mean that as like negative. I mean that as that's how to not stay in the prison. Shame, fear, and all that stuff can't hit a moving target is kind of what I'm saying. And it pushed me so much that now, 3 days from when I was originally feeling like at my lowest low about this, I have 3 weeks of content like in the arsenal planned. You know what I'm saying? I think that had I decided at that point, okay, fuck, I'm deleting all of it, fuck it, scrap it, boom, 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 I think that all the motion obviously would have stopped. And I think the forward motion is what's most important. It doesn't matter if it's slow. It doesn't matter if it's slow. It doesn't matter if it's tiny. It doesn't matter if it's a little tiny, tiny baby micro step. Or you will find yourself in a prison of your own making. Yes, I think that precisely describes it. I don't know. I've been having fun doing this. This has been fun. It's been really embarrassing, but in a really positive kind of way. It's been really shocking my system to not feel embarrassment anymore. In like all truth, it's been 3 weeks, like I said. I already feel myself becoming incredibly desensitized to the emotion of embarrassment. I know Austin Butler and all his Elvis cringy nonsense. I get that. But what he said in that Subway interview about embarrassment being an underexplored emotion, I really do believe that. I really do believe that. And this is a part of the practice of that. And I believe that that's related to your creativity, and that's even why we're doing this. But regardless, I feel it slowly slipping away. I feel me slowly giving less and less and less and less and less of a fuck every single day. And it's so freeing and amazing. Do I like register the emotion? Can I like see it in my peripheral? Yes, of course. But it doesn't like move me to do something fearful. It doesn't move me to take an action that's grounded in fear. And I think that that's what's most important. It can make me feel cringy. It can make me feel icky. It can make me want to cry a little bit. But as long as it's not pushing me to act on it, I think that that's all you really got to do is just not act on it. You can feel it. Just let it go. Just let it go, because the more you feel it, the I promise you become less desensitized to it. Because every day that goes by, it's a little bit easier when somebody brings it up to me. Or it's a little bit easier to say, like, yeah, I make content online and I'm a writer. You know, that's this week's Juice Nursery Report. If you want to read the actual Juice Nursery Report, it'll be down there. A link to the Substack. I do a short form Substack. And at the end of it, I put in the Juice Nursery Report, which is this kind of a creative conversation. If you like this and want more of it, but in bite-sized pieces, I'm over on Instagram Reels and I talk about a lot over there. And I also do long form content on Substack. I do a newsletter about twice a week. So you should check that out. It's all down there. Yeah, I hope this made you think about something and reevaluate a part of your life and where you may be doing this for yourself, however that manifests, even if it's not creatively. We'll chat next week. Bye.